Now, Kalpana Viswanath is the co-founder and CEO of Safetipin, a mobile safety app, and she joins me now from Gurgaon in India. Thanks so much for joining us here on TRT World's News Hour. First of all, Kalpana, your reaction to this horror story?
The rape was, of course, deeply disturbing to hear about, the rape and the murder of this young woman. In the evening at around 9 o'clock, it was not even middle of the night. And the brutality, the burning of the body, these are deeply disturbing things for us to hear. And as women in this country, it frightens us. It makes us feel afraid. But this morning, the action by the police to shoot these four culprits is also very deeply disturbing. As a women's rights activist, I cannot condone vigilante, extrajudicial killings, because today if we allow the police to do something like this in one case, where of course people are very angry, how can we stop it in another case? And I understand the anger of the father. I can sympathize why the father would feel happy, but it disturbs me to see so many people congratulating and thanking the police for something like this, because at the end of the day, we must follow the institutions of our democracy. We have to have a trial. We have to give everybody a trial. And I think without that, tomorrow somebody else can be lynched. Tomorrow the public can lynch someone. What is the line that we draw in what is acceptable as killing?
Absolutely, and you have a good point there, because it is challenging to understand the reaction of the father there, congratulating the police. I want to ask you, Kalpana, you're doing a lot to help women's safety. Tell us how your app is contributing to that.
So Safetipin is a set of apps through which we collect data about what makes public spaces safe or unsafe. We look both at physical infrastructure, but also the nature of the public space and how it's used. And this data is available for women who have smartphones. They can see which areas are safe or unsafe. They can put in their own feelings of safety. And also, we share this data with the government. And through that, we advocate for them to actually, for example, improve lighting, improve bus stops, improve mobility, last mile connectivity, different aspects of the urban built form that can have an impact on women's perception of safety. And several cities in India, including Delhi, have actually used our data to improve public spaces such as lighting and other things. So our aim is really to expand women's access to the city. It's not to restrict women's access through fear. And what happens when a case like this happens, people get scared. There's so much reporting on it, and the tendency is to ask women to stay in. Don't go out, don't take risks. And we know that that is only going to make life more difficult for women. We have to go out, we have to have the right to access education, employment, and everything that any man has in our country.
And what is the government doing to help women feel safe?
Well, sometimes, you feel not enough. At other times, there are steps being taken, but clearly it's not enough. I think the government, as well as other institutions, such as schools and workplaces, have to recognize this has become a very central problem of India. It's become a defining characteristic of India. If someone tells you about Indian cities, you immediately think, oh, unsafe for women. Now, we have to change this perception, but we have to change the reality for women in order to change that perception. So we certainly need much more policing. The jubilation that we're seeing on the streets does arise from the fact that people do not have faith in the police and the judicial institutions. And I think that is something we have to understand.
And I want to...
While
Yeah, I want to draw you in a bit more on that point because, you know, I want to ask you, what scares you when you see people celebrating these alleged culprits being shot?
I think what really disturbs me as much as the police themselves doing it is the fact that people have become so, you know, this sort of baying for blood. And this thing that somehow it's somebody outside there who is raping. And this has nothing to do with me. When in fact we know that a lot of rape that occurs, not just in India, but all over the world, is by people that you know. So tomorrow, if it's marital rape, are you going to be okay if your husband is shot dead or an uncle is shot dead? I mean, this is, you know, somehow there's a removal. There's somebody out there who is a bad man who needs to be killed. Now, you know, without any case being done, we don't even know if these were the right four men, honestly, right?
No.
We just have to believe. We have to believe the fact that they were, you know, and so that's I think the other disturbing thing. There was a case in Gurgaon, where I live, last year, where there was again violence against a young child in a school, and the police actually arrested a poor bus driver, and it was found out a few months later that he was not the person, and the police had in fact tortured him to give a confession. Now, we know these things happen. You know, we know that these things can happen also. So when you don't follow and the fact that people are not even willing to think about all this, you know, I feel people's frustration. I understand it, you know. It's terrible for you to not be able to go out, for you to fear for your daughter all the time. I understand it. I'm a woman, I am a mother. I understand this. But if we give up on the judicial system, if we give up on democracy, if we give up on institutions which hold our society together, we are giving up on a lot more than you realize. And tomorrow, if somebody you know is shot dead because somebody else thinks he or she did something that was wrong in their eyes, who is going to answer for it? You know, it's like this is the beginning. And I think that is very crucial when we talk about this issue. And I think so, therefore, I'm really deeply disturbed to see so many people celebrating it. I mean, okay, even if you feel somewhere inside, okay, these people deserve it, but to celebrate it openly is to flaunt the fact that we do not believe in institutions.
And that's a good point you raised, and we saw people giving sweets and throwing petals on our screens today. Kalpana, it's been really great to hear you. I have goose pimples just listening to you. I could listen to you for a long time. Thank you so much for explaining this difficult subject so well. Kalpana Viswanath, co-founder and CEO of Safetipin from Goa, India. Thank you so much for speaking to us on TRT World.